Hello everybody, today our video is going to be all about some soap. I have actually been making this beautiful Orchid Dream soap. It is an absolute dream. I love it, it smells just beautiful, but I will tell you that it did go crazy. It did seize super fast, so I had to be really fast getting it into the mold, and that's what happens when you're working with a lot of different floral fragrances. So anyway, it is beautiful. I do love it, and it does, like I said, smell divine. If you feel like giving me a thumbs up during this video, of course, give me a huge thumbs up. It does actually help my little baby channel to grow, of course, and don't forget to push subscribe, and that way you'll actually get notifications when my videos come up, especially my Sunday chat, because I know lots of you are looking forward to the Sunday chats, which are every fortnight. Anyway, enjoy the video, my friends. I hope you love the soap making. Now today, as I said, we are going to be making some absolutely beautiful soap. This is going to be a huge slab mold, so I do have my slab in here, and then this is where we're going to melt down all of our oils in a moment. And I'm going to basically, I've measured everything out just so that I can show you. So a slab mold like this takes roughly about 6.5 kilos, which is 6,500 grams of a recipe. So it is a huge recipe, very, very big recipe, but today I'm going to give you my super easy recipe. It's an absolutely amazing recipe. It's so lovely that it's palm free and it is vegan as well, which is super cool. So basically in here we do have some beautiful cocoa butter. So here is my cocoa butter in here. Then I've already measured up my shea butter. This is unrefined shea. You can use refined if you like. I just personally like the unrefined. And in here I have some gorgeous coconut oil. Now if you're doing your recipes on soap calc, this is called the 76 coconut oil, and it does look very fluffy at the moment, and that's because it's been sort of quite humid in Australia and we're having lots of storms, but it's still humid and quite warm, so it's starting to actually melt down and get quite squishy, and that's what this one will do. I also do have my lye that is already made to the side of that, and I thought I will show you a couple extra things that we are actually going to put in here. So let's just put these aside, and we're going to organize our little pot that we've got here. And I'm just going to move this aside a bit. I'm trying to find the best angle so that I can show you all what I'm doing. So this is the best angle, I think. This is just a stainless steel pot. It's got the silicone base on, so it is fine just to go and put in your double boil. So these are perfect if you want to sit it on a fry pan with your water. But of course, test everything. Please test everything. You know, I say this all the time. I teach everyone how to do this, but I'm not a licensed chemist or anything like that. I just know how to make soap because I've made it for quite some time. Anyway, like I said, let's get this recipe going. Now, so to keep this recipe going, I'm going to tell you what I've popped in here. Like I said, this is for your slab mold. This is a standard slab mold that will make approximately 60 bars of 100 gram soap, depending how high you fill it up. And I'm going to fill it up about 1/2 centimeter from the top because that's sort of the sized bars that I want. So let's pop in our coconut oil first. So we're going to put 1,300 grams in here. Like I said, I've measured it up, so just measure as you go along. I'm not going to put the recipe in the description because I will be talking throughout it and telling you what the recipe is. So just watch the video, and I promise to give you all the tips, tricks, and so on with this particular recipe. Now we're using a 4% super fat today. It's important to always use a super fat when you're making cold processed soap. It just allows for, you know, any movement and things like that. So, like I said, we've got our coconut, don't we? We've done that. Now, let's pop our beautiful shea in. Now, you don't have to use shea. You might want to use mango butter or something else. There's so many alternatives. If you don't want to use all of these butters, because this does make a more expensive bar, you can leave this out, but you would need to do your recipe again. You would need to put it through soap calc, and you could just do it, even an olive oil one, if you like. So we are going to add 650 grams of this beautiful shea butter. And as I said, this is not a cheap recipe. And I'll tell you, I was out the other day and I seen these beautiful bars of soap, about the same size that mine are, and they were $15 a bar, and I seen several people buy them from this particular shop. So don't ever think that you can't charge a certain amount, as long as, you know, your product looks beautiful. But they were beautifully wrapped, just like I wrap mine, and so on. But, you know, look, that's what I like to tell people, that you don't have to charge $5 for a bar of soap. It is very expensive to make one that is a beautiful high-end sort of buttered one like this. So you can't be charging $3 or $4 because you won't make enough money. Now let's go and add this beautiful cocoa butter in. I've got both of these from Deluxe Shea. I promise to put all of the details below. I'll put all the links so that you'll know where to get all this. And we're going to add 390 grams of this gorgeous butter in here. So let's just add that in here. And I will tell you my lye content as well as we go along, so that you'll have the full recipe. But look, I do often say to people, it is better if you can go and put all this back through soap calc. It's really important just to double check it, because, you know, you never know, I could have made a mistake or something else. Now, if you want to have your soap harder, there's a couple of things you can do. Number one, you can put stearic acid in it. Number two, you can add things like this. This is sodium lactate. It is a salt derivative product. Or many people do use seawater. They go and grab some water out of the sea. But I don't do that because, you know, you just never know what's in it. So that's why I don't use seawater. But I know lots of people do use it. I use distilled water in my lye, but you can also add a teaspoon or a tablespoon of salt as well. That's something else. But of course, once again, test that. This, you know, that I said sodium lactate, this is great because it does help release it from these silicone molds really, really easy. And, you know, with a soap like this, usually you're going to leave this for a day and a half before you take it out. Most of my soaps, within probably 18 hours, I can take them out. But if you've got a really humid day, soap will be more sticky and will take longer to come out of the mold. If you're in tropical areas like high-end Queensland in Australia or Cairns, you may need to actually leave your soap, try and find the driest, coolest area, and you may need to leave that for several days before you take it out and cut it. That's really important. So we have all of our butters in here. Now this is going to go into the double boil, so you don't need to watch me do that. I will do that, melt it down, but you could do it on a slow cooker, you could do it over the stove, whatever you like, because we want this butters and we want the lye to be approximately the same temperature, roughly room temperature. You know, you want it about, look, it depends on what your room temperature is, doesn't it? But, you know, you want them lower than 40 degrees Celsius. I will put down below, I will put all of the temperatures that, you know, are great temperatures that I personally use. And you may see lots of soapers that do things at a different way. There's no right or wrong. It's just, you know, how people end up doing them. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add a tiny bit of stearic acid in here. We're going to only add 30 grams in this. You can use half a gram, you know, per your oil. So basically 0.5% per your oil recipe. So whatever your oils are, then just calculate that and add it in. And I'm adding a bit less than I can. I'm just going to add 30 grams, which I've already measured up. It's actually 2 of these spoons. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to pop that into these so it will melt down with all of the butters. So now all we're going to do, like I said, is just add 2 of these because I have already measured them and that's what it equals, exactly that. So that is 30 grams. It's only a little bit, or I think it works out to be about 28 actually with those spoons, but it's only a tiny bit and it's just going to help. You don't want it to be, you don't want to put too much stearic acid because it will make it really waxy and it won't be a nice bar. So that is perfect for what we're doing. Now, once we've melted all this down, we can also add in our castor oil. We're going to add in castor oil, and we are also going to add in some beautiful olive oil. But I will let you know when I do that, because we're not doing that right now. Like I said, I'm going to melt this down, and I'll bring you back when this is all melted down and it's beautiful and cool. So here we are, everybody. I have melted this down. I put it in this massive, huge pot. This is, oh, well, it's a big bucket, actually. It's massive. So sometimes when you're making things this big, you really do need really, really big equipment. So this is still warm, but we're going to add all of our other oils into here. And that way we will know that's all ready. We will do all of the temperatures and things like that. But for now, like I said, we're just going to add all of our other liquid oils into it. And then we will start to mix up some colors. So everyone, we do have our bucket on top of my big scale. This scale I actually got from Amazon. It's not that expensive, but it's a commercial one, so it will take lots and lots of weight. I think it takes up to about 50 kilos if I'm right. It's something like that, but it is super duper good. So like I said, we've already got the melted oils in, so let's just go and add our other oils. So first off, we want to add some castor oil in. I'm going to add 325 grams of castor oil. So just make sure you tear out the scale first. So this is my castor oil. I get this one from Aussie Candles. You can get it from every supplier, so many suppliers. I did buy several litres, but they must have had some of these bottles and they gave me them in this, but that's okay. So I'm just going to pour it directly in here. If you're worried that you'll make a mistake, just pour it separately and then you can add it in at a later date. So what do we say? 325 grams. So we're getting close. So we'll keep adding that in. Almost there. All right, so that's right, 325. This is going to help give you the bubbles, and also the coconut oil is going to help with the bubbles as well. So now we want to add our olive oil. Like I said, this one is pretty easy. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 main ingredients in it. So it's a pretty good recipe. As I said, you know, it's palm-free recipe as well. So we've got all that in there. And now our olive oil, we want 3,835 grams in this. So it does have a lot. I think it's about 59% actually olive oil in this one. I've already torn out the scale. Let's just add in our olive oil, and I am going to have to open a couple of these containers. I buy my olive oil from my local shopping centre. It is no cheaper online. To be honest, I've actually found it more expensive online because obviously, you know, they've got to ship it as well as the cost. And it's generally about 20% more expensive online. I've not found it cheaper. I guess if you're buying in massive bulk, then maybe it would be cheaper, but I'm only buying probably 20 litres at a time. So that is the first one, and let's just keep adding it in. You can use extra virgin olive oil if you want, but if you want to do colours, you just need to make sure your oils are light. And there's some oils that go, you know, sort of go bad faster. Olive oil for me, I've never really had many issues with DOS. And DOS is when you get those horrible orangey browny sort of looking spots on your soap. It generally, when you're getting DOS, there's a couple reasons. Number one, it might be just the way that you've stored it. The second one is the oils are old. And when we say old, it doesn't mean they're out of date. They just might be, you know, quite older. And especially if you have castor oil or even oils like polysorbate 80, they can smell really funny when they're getting old. I have definitely noticed that. And now here's our third one, because one of them I only had a little bit, the other one I had 3/4, and we need to add this one in. This is the cheapest oil I found. I get this at Woolworths, so it's not very expensive. I mean, well, all of them are, I think. And actually, if I'm right, I think it works out to be, for every 100 grams, I think it was $1.10. So I think that is the price on it, which is still expensive, isn't it? I mean, it's not cheap, let's be honest. So that's why I say you need to charge a bit for your soap. You can't be charging, you know, a few dollars. You just wouldn't make enough money. Most of my bars of soap cost me several dollars just to make the soap. And that doesn't include electricity or anything else. Some bars of soap can cost you $4 to make just one bar, especially if you're making a vegan soap with high butters. And, you know, like I'm using certified butters that, you know, are fair trade as well. They're much more expensive to make it like this, but and you can make it cheaper, but you know, this is kind of the brand that I'm going for, so it just comes down to your brand as well. So we just need a little bit more. What do we say? 3835. So just be careful when you get to the end, because you don't want to have too much in. If you have too much, then it may ruin your recipe, because the lye and everything is balanced against the oils. And especially with lye, you can't put too much lye in as well. All right, now I just wanted to show you this bit. Of course, we're going to put gloves on to use the lye and everything else, but for now, I just wanted to really show you how we are doing this as well. So we've got all of our oils ready. We're going to move everything out the way. I'm going to go and wash all the oil residue off my hands, and then we're going to get making. All right, we are back, everybody. So in here I have all of my oils. I've already poured in all of the olive oil, the castor oil, and of course we have our melted down oils that are in here. So all we're going to do now, and you can see that I've got my sieve here, or sifter. Basically what I do is I always pour my lye directly in this. Now the reason I do that is in case I have any lye ash or anything that have fallen into the lye, just in case, just to put it in there so that we know that this is going to be the most beautiful soap that we can get. It's very important just to make sure you do that. So now I'm just going to see what sort of temperature we're at. This is at about 36 degrees, which is pretty good, and my lye is at a very similar temperature as well. When I say degrees, that is Celsius, because we're in Australia, we use Celsius here. I've also here, I've already, in this little jug here, I have my fragrance. We're not going to pour that in until after we mix it. And then I also have a color that I've made set to the side. Now I'm going to keep this white, and I'm just going to add, you know, some drops of beautiful purple in it. But anyway, like I said, let's get going, and we're just literally going to pour this lye directly in here. Now if your lye is too hot, or if you're, you know, or if the oils are too hot, it can, and basically what can happen is it can seize up straight away. Now if you can see that little bit in there, that is just what happens when you're using lye and things like that. Sometimes the lye ash gets in, and I don't love that. I don't want that in there. So like I said, this is the fragrance. We're not going to put that in yet. I'm using 260 grams of fragrance. Some fragrances you can use more than others. That's worked out about a 3 to 4%. And in here, like I said, we've got all the oils now, and all we got to do is mix it. So to mix soap, you 100% do need a stick blender. There's no good making this without a stick blender. You can't use a normal mixer or anything like that, because basically you need it to chop and turn and do all of the things that the stick blenders will actually do. So let's just get that ready and we'll get making. So now here it is in here. It's looking beautiful. Let's just give it some bursts. And basically with this, what you want to do is keep the stick blender in. Don't pull it in and out the whole time. And basically you're going to burst it for about 30 seconds. Then we're going to use this as a stirrer, just like this, just to help our mix go along. So let's get going. in between mixing, what we want to do is literally doing this. We're using this as like a spoon. And do be careful, because if lye goes in your eye, you can actually get blind. It's caustic material. It's super important to wear the right equipment and, you know, just do the right thing when we're making soap. So I'm going to keep mixing because a batch of this size, you do need to mix more than a small batch. A small batch, within 30 seconds, it's probably already gone to trace. And when I say trace, that means if I lift it up and, you know, and when I'm doing this, you can see the drips and you'll leave little lines on the top, that means it's ready. This is definitely not ready. So I'm just going to keep mixing it, but I will bring you back to show you what the trace will look like. So now I brought you back just to show you, and you will see it is very, I've dropped something now, but it's very lightly leaving a trace on the top. Now, because this is a vegan soap, it doesn't have the heaviness of palm oil and things like that. I mean, you know, palm is vegan too, but because, you know, this is also a palm free and it doesn't have animal fats and things like that, it doesn't have that heaviness to bulk this up. So that's why it's going to stay fluid longer than the other soaps that you may use. So as I said, you know, that's the important bit, just to remember, you know, and so you may need to just mix it a bit more, but I think that's it for now. So I am going to add my fragrance. We're going to add the color that we want as well. So I'm going to just add my fragrance in. Of course, we are going to blend again, so that's why we don't want it blended too much before we add the fragrance. Now you'll definitely be able to see more of it now. Now it's really important when you're making soap like this to remember that sometimes some fragrances, especially ones like this that are floral, can go get thick super fast. Really fast, so you have to watch what you're doing and quickly get it into the mold if it starts to get thick. Now can you see how thick this is already? I definitely can. So rather than doing too many colors, I am literally going to add my purple in here. I think we're just going to keep this purple because I can see it's going crazy already. Now, if you can see how crazy this has gone, and this is because it has orchid in it. It also has lilac. Lilac does not love, you know, soap recipes, but it smells gorgeous if you can be fast. So sometimes ones like this, you're not going to get the prettiness in. You can drizzle it with glitter or something on top. So we're going to pour it straight in here. Because we need to get this in fast into this mold and hit it down. And I don't know whether you can see this, but it is straight away gone super duper thick, which is fine, but we just need to quickly get it in. And I'm happy with the way it is. Like, doesn't matter if it's got the color, it's not important, but I can see that it is at the right level. So I'm probably not going to add this little bit in. I'll put this in a separate mold. And let's bang it down. Wow, that was fast. So that's pretty much what we're going to do, and I'm just going to add the other bit in. So now I do have this little mold here, so anything that's left in here, so that we don't waste it, I'm just going to quickly put it in here. Now can you see how hard this has gone already? Super hard. And I knew this fragrance did that, but I actually added more gardenia thinking that will fix it, because the gardenia that I use from Pure Candles doesn't go thick. It's pretty good, but obviously with the lilac and the orchid, it's still going to go crazy. So my great idea didn't work as good as I thought it would. But I've said this in a few last videos. Soap is one of these things that you've got to be fast on your toes if something goes wrong. And it's not that it's gone wrong, it's just, you know, it's gone super thick. And obviously we want to get it in the mold so that we can cut it and it's going to look beautiful. And I may have to cry if it doesn't look beautiful, but... And the one thing I'll tell you is when it gets thick and crazy like this, one bonus, if there is a bonus, is it gets hard super fast. That's one thing. So I'm going to just pop that in there. Of course, you're going to have to hit this down to get any air bubbles out. And I can already see air bubbles in it. And don't worry about the prettiness. You can fix that later. You just don't want to waste the recipe, because otherwise you've you know, wasted everything. But anyway, we are going to leave this, I think, until a day or two, probably tomorrow or tomorrow night maybe. I will take that out and see how it's going. Now if you want, you can get a scraper to make sure this is super straight, but we don't need to worry because we can fix that later. But because, oh, look, and I've made a mess of this spoon, but it doesn't matter. Like, just kind of, you know, try and smooth it down a bit, because I am actually making some new soap boxes, getting some new boxes made. So I need to make sure this is going to be the right height to be able to fit into the boxes. You know, it's very important that I be able to get it to the right height. Otherwise, you know, the soap's not going to fit in my new boxes. And going forward, that's literally what I'm trying to do. So I think that's good. We'll be able to leave this for now. It is a little bit thicker on the edge, so I'll just move that little bit out. But anyway, that is looking beautiful, isn't it? I'm going to take off my gloves now, and we're just going to be putting a little bit of glitter on top. So I just have this tiny little bit of glitter, and all I'm going to do is literally just go over the top and just give it a little bit. It's not a lot, it's barely noticeable, but I will know that it's looking beautiful. If you want, another thing you can do is you can actually use a little bit of oil and mica and just drizzle it on the top. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want the oil all over. Nobody's going to love me for having that everywhere. So pretty much that is it, my friends. We are done with that. I'm going to leave it until tomorrow. Now I will know from now on we are not getting two colors once I add the fragrance. But maybe next time I will separate it before I add the fragrance in. And then we're just going to spray it with some isopropyl on top. And that actually helps with any kind of like frosting and stuff like that. So just give it a little spray. This is 99% alcohol in that. And if you want, you can add like lots of little bits of glitter, like these little tiny fun glitters and things are just going to go down the shower. But I've generally found people don't want them on the soap. So like I said, we've done that. I'm going to leave that and I'll bring you back tomorrow to show you. So here it is, everybody. I thought I would show you. I've added the little bit of glitter on top, and that's just through one of those little special things I just showed you. Look how messy this is. Crazy, but I promise you it's going to turn out beautiful. If not, it's going to be samples, because either way there is 60 bars in this big one here, and I have finished this one off. So I will be on to the others. I do have another 8 slabs to go this week. It will all be about soap to get it off the ground and going, because a lot of it I've totally ran out. But the next one on my list will be the Barry's Daughter, and that one does not seize and get crazy like these florals. So you can use florals, you just have to be fast on your toes, my friends. Anyway, that is it for today, and like I said, I'm going to bring you back in just a minute, but for me it'll be the next day before we take it out of this mold. Hello friends, it is looking beautiful. This is the soap that we made yesterday. We are going to take it out of the mold. It is looking very, very darling. Now I know we've seen a little bit of a mishap yesterday because soap does that with different fragrances, my friends. It really does. So we're going to see if this actually works. We're going to see if there's any, air gaps and things like that. And then I have my cutter here. So we are actually going to put it through the cutter. And I'm going to show you how I actually do that. So basically on this edge up the top, we're just going to get a ruler and we will actually rule where we want to cut so that we know the right way to do this. But so far, I'm thinking it does look beautiful. So let me just pop it on here. I'll bring you back and then we'll get this cut. All right, everyone, I am just going to show you. So basically on here, it has this little bit of a arm, I guess you can say. And then we just want to make sure that where the wire is going to go down the center here, that this is how wide my soap's going to be. So this is the actual size of the soap. This was one that we did put in the mold. If you remember, we had a little bit extra, so we put it in the mold. And if I sit this here and push the wire here, it may actually try and push my tripod that's standing here, but you'll have to trust me, the wire will literally go to this bit here. Let me just move the tripod a tiny bit. I'm sorry for the wobbling, but I promise I'm going to show you. And then if you can actually, can you see here, if I push this nice and tight, you can see that it is just on the edge of the wire here. So if you can see this particular wire, and then I know that is the right size, which is basically right on 5 centimeters across. And then of course, once we do the loaves, we need to make sure they're as wide as this on the outside of the bar so that the bar is kind of like this, if that makes sense. Because this is the size bar one. I decided this is really good to hold in your hand. I'm only 5'1" tall. So this is perfect for somebody small like me, and a lot of people want a smaller bar of soap to hold. So we can make it wider to give it to make it sure that it's around the 100 grams or more. But we definitely want it this size. So all you do at the back here, there's a little screw. We tighten that one up and then this one's done. Now I did get this donated to me. One of my followers actually bought it for me and sent it. They paid, which I didn't realize. Her name was Leanne. So Leanne, if you're still watching me, she bought it for me a couple years ago. I use it a lot and I'm super grateful, my lovely. So like I said, Leanne did buy this from me from Etsy. I'm not sure if the particular maker still makes it. I think it is called Australian Soap Boxes, I think. But anyway, you'll find these. This is a slab cutter. This is a single slab cutter that we're using. So let's get the full slab on here and you'll be able to see how I'm going to cut it. Now we have the full slab on here. Now this is the soap I said before. So if you can see the wire here, I've just put the soap here and we can move it back and forward to see, and the soap's right on the edge here. So this is definitely the right size. If anything, it's maybe a weeny bit wider, but I'm pretty happy with that. And then all you're going to do is you need to hold it. There's a handle behind the back here, and we're going to hold this so that we can do the slab cutting. So let's go and cut this gorgeous soap. And there it is. That is the first one cut. Doesn't it look lovely? I know that we wanted this purple. We wanted to do all these different things, but I still think it looks really nice. And now I will know for next time that this particular soap is extremely hard to fix, but we can do it. So now all I'm going to do is get this slab, push it against the little bar again, because that is your level to make sure it's right. And we'll get this cut. I should be able to get 6 bars and a tiny bit left for samples on the edge. Here it is. Doesn't it look beautiful? I can see a tiny few little bubbles, but that is nothing. That is fine. And that's why you got to slap and hit down the box of soap, as you would have seen me do yesterday. Anyway, we're going to cut all of this, and then I'm going to show you how I cut the other side. And here it is, looking beautiful. And I know it looks super thin, but my soaps are thinner, my new ones are thinner and thicker. And then it's left me this little piece on the edge. So this is going to be my edge one. And I am actually thinking of, I had one of my other customers, Samantha, asking me about whether I sell a small sample of each soap. I don't really, but these ones I'll be able to put into little bags for a sample. So, and if you're buying from me and there's a particular sample you want, just ask me, just say, look, do you have any samples of that? And I'm happy to include one if there's something that you want. Sometimes I will have sold out of them. At the moment, I'm sold out of a lot, but it's fine. You can always ask me. You never know, I may have it. So anyway, that's what we are doing. I'm just measuring them up together, and they are all the same size. And now it's time to get them all cut. Before we cut them, everyone, I just thought I would show you, this is what a slab mold makes. So it does make lots and lots of loaves. So let's get cutting it, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. So now we are ready, everyone. Here where you can see this little marker here, let me just move this to the side. So if you can actually see here, it's got like little silver markings. So this is 3.4 centimeters across, because the time I cut it, it's roughly about the size that I actually want. And I'm going to just push this nice and tight. Now this, you are going to move, because I do actually have my tripod here sitting on the soap cutter as we cut it. So now this is like I said, this is a splitting machine. This is not a soap cutter. But long story short, I actually broke the wires on my soap one, and I've ordered it and they have not come. So if you're in your bind, this is just what you have to do. So this is a bit more of a longer process, but it doesn't really matter, does it? So doesn't that look cute? So this is the size of the new bars. They're looking really cute. I really do love the size, and I am going to get boxes made, and this way I'll be able to split them in a machine. Now I'm going to tell you this as well, everybody. Oops, sorry, I bounced the tripod. Now if you can see the edges, because when you cut it, it has a little edge. You know, you'll see lots of people cut them. You don't have to cut them. There's nothing saying that you need a peeler to cut them. You will see a lot of natural soaps that are left raw like that. The only thing is, once they cure, they get harder on the edge. So that's really why we cut them. So like I said, let's just do this. So we're just going to push this back over this way, bring it forward, and you know, do this. And I mean, these are things that we have to do, everyone. Like, let's be honest, sometimes things happen, you know, like something might break, or you need to get something else. So, you know, look, as I said, this is not the fastest way to cut soap, but it is going to cut the little bars that we want. It's going to do what I want, and then they can go on the rack to start to cure, because that is all a part of making soap. These ones will not be ready until the end of February, probably at this stage, maybe around the 16th of February, something like that, I think. I haven't worked out the time. I basically cure mine for about 6 weeks. There's nothing right or wrong. Some people leave it for 4 weeks, but because we've got all the humidity and everything at the moment, I think it may just need a little bit longer. And I'm lucky because this studio here, we do have a few little racks at the side where we can just sit all the bars of soap and cure them. Now, over my time of making soap, I've had bars that are slim and tall. I've had bars that are wide. I mean, I've had all different sizes, and there's nothing right or wrong about the size that you choose for your soap. So don't feel like somebody else has a different bar, so you need to change it. Have the bar of soap however you like it. The one thing that I've just noticed over time with people asking me, a lot of people have said we want a bar that's sort of smaller to hold, not so long, and not so fat to hold. So after a little bit of research, I just thought this was pretty much a really good size. And look, you're not going to suit everyone. There may be somebody that might say, well, we prefer the bar wider. But for me, this is the size that's going to work, and it's going to work in the new boxes that I'm going to have made. So hopefully this one will be one of the first ones to get its new box and get ready. But that's just the way it is, isn't it? We can't do much about that. But like I said, and then there's going to be a slim bit at the end. And that's fine. That's just the way it is. I can't do much about that. But let me just double check that I am cutting it right. Yes, I am, because I thought, oh no, I moved it. And once you've cut it, you kind of ruined it if that's it. So, and it's going to just leave a little slim bar like this. So somebody very lucky is going to get that. And I worked out there should be about 60. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 9. So maybe I'm going to get a little less than I thought because I've made them a little wider. But it doesn't matter. I'm still going to get lots of soap, and then that's how you can organize your cost of goods so that you realize what you're going to get in your soap. So like I said, this is what we're getting for what we're doing now, and it's going to look beautiful. I'm very excited about it. I hope you have enjoyed this video, everybody. I hope you have loved looking at all the soap that we've been doing. Anyway, I am going to see you lovelies on the next video. Bye, friends. Hello everyone, I am back just for a moment. I had to show you out of my full bars, this is literally all I have left in scrap. Now you want to make sure that you measure it up so that you have the tiniest bit. So I have all of my soap cut, and then I do have a little bit which they are going to be my sample soaps, and we will actually be selling those in groups of 5. So that's basically how exciting it is going to be, but you just want a little bit left, not too much, and then this is the tester for you to test and make sure it's super good for yourself. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed it. Make sure you put your thumbs up for me, and of course make sure you subscribe and wait for the next video to come out. All right, bye friends.